The reflection that's staring back at you shows a boy who's scared, who's sad, and I'm simply doing that by the lines on the faces of the mouth, dropping them a little, which depicts sadness. The eyes are brought down just a little. Also, at the points of broken glass, I've added a little more color with the pastel to add the sharpness. So because he experienced this firsthand, I thought the best way to get this story across, is to have a reflection where you're showing a change from the boy from the outside looking in.
One of the things that Mitzi and I experienced and learned all too well with the survivors is how they have so few, if anything, from when they were a child, because everything was either destroyed or left behind. And so very few photographs or very few possessions of when they were little. And in interviewing Bob, he shared with us that night a little silver cup that survived Kristallnacht, or the night of broken glass.
I remember distinctly in Frankfurt at the time, we were warned that they would be coming in through the houses to destroy things, and the best thing to do is to just leave. And I remember walking the streets for several hours with my aunt to get out of the house. In Camberg, my mother and father were warned also, and they in turn spent the night in the Jewish cemetery while the thugs went through the house, destroying the house and the store, destroying everything that they could destroy. The synagogues were burnt, the philanthropine was burnt and destroyed, and there was no more school after that. This is what I remember: broken glass, broken windows. In Camberg, my mother and father, the same happened to them, and the little chalice that I was holding in the picture represents the only thing that my mother brought out of Germany that had not been totally destroyed.
Jack's parents worked in Cherson, Russia, in a work camp, and it's not really known to us about the circumstances of that particular work camp. We do know that they did have to endure very cold temperatures. There was a shortage of food. Jack was only 5 pounds when he was born and a sickly baby. So, you know, conditions weren't favorable for a baby to be healthy under those circumstances. I wanted to show the mother's hand that's reaching around in front and the father's arm and hand. I wanted to show that as sort of a rough texture because they were in a work camp. It was not a place of luxury. So I wanted to depict that through the strokes of the oil pastel.
And it seemed to always come back to me when I would tell someone that Jack was participating. They would say, "Oh, Jack, he's the latke cook for the Chanukah lunch." That became our story for Jack, and it's something that he is so well known for throughout the community in Birmingham.
Knowing that my parents ended up in a work camp and were able to get out of that work camp and travel after I was born. Well, excuse me, I was about 3 months old and when the war ended, but they were able to leave the work camp. And I kept quiet on the trip because traveling and trying to hide from the people that would capture them and put them back in a work camp, labor camp, or worse, it was fortunate that I stayed quiet. And they made it out, and then after the war, as they were, you know, they hadn't have a homeland to go back to, had no possessions, no homes, no real country to go back to. Having a cooking background, I was put on potato latkes, which I enjoyed doing because everybody leaves you alone. You're not running around the kitchen. You're sitting there taking care of those 3 or 4, you know, pots or pans that you're working with. But ever since then, down through the, gosh, it's been probably 20 years now, I'm the potato latke guy, one of the potato latke guys. And I enjoy it. I look forward to it, but also look forward to helping out, to being of to finding, you know, a lot of reward in being able to be productive in doing something like this.